Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage, and me and Seven the tuning dog over here are here to talk to you about a topic that a lot of you have been asking about for a long time, and that is tuning with the long-term fuel trims, aka doing narrowband fuel tuning. So let me go ahead and step on my soapbox and complain about why I do not like to tune with narrowbands. They are all right for any kind of cruising, but soon as you get into power enrichment, the area where you are making power and fueling is the most critical, they no longer function for tuning in that area. So they're great right at stoic. Outside of stoic, they start to have issues. The further you get away from stoic, they have issues. And as you know, whenever we go into power enrichment, we are commanding, a significant amount of additional fuel in there. Well, that is beyond the ability of the narrowbands to register. So you can use the narrowband sensors to tune cruising, idle, things like that. That is perfectly fine, but you cannot use them to tune those wide open throttle things. And if you are running forced induction, you have to have a wideband. I don't care what anybody says. You should not ever consider tuning an FI vehicle without a wideband. On top of that, never disable power enrichment. There will be posts out there, other people on YouTube telling you, hey, just turn off power enrichment and then you can use the narrowbands to tune all the way up to redline. You will destroy something doing that. Do not disable power enrichment ever. Ever. I'm serious. Don't ever turn power enrichment off. That being said, let's go ahead and get the disclaimer out of the way here, and then we will jump into a couple things. We're going to touch on MAF and volumetric efficiency both because they're pretty close together. We will shoot through some of the steps real quick. It's going to be very fast. I will post a link up in the corner to the tuning playlist. If you need a refresher on how to set things up to log in volumetric efficiency or in MAF, check that out. Just remember, we are not disabling closed loop. If anything, we're going to try and force closed loop all the time. But power enrichment's still going to kick in and take us out of closed loop. But let's get the disclaimer out of the way. This video is intended for educational purposes only. Improper tuning can cause catastrophic mechanical damage, and you should do your own research before attempting any changes like this to a vehicle. Attempt custom tuning at... Okay, now that that's out of the way, we got a tune open up here. Got like a 2012 Silverado. Doesn't really matter. A lot of this is the same, whether or not you have a standard VE table, a virtual VE table. You have built these VE tables out in the past. We'll quickly touch on that, but we're going to breeze through a lot of this stuff. So I'm trying to keep this as short as possible while touching all of the topics that you guys need to know about in order to properly do this. So looking at your tune file, you are going to have to either force it over to the MAF or force it over to speed density like we normally do. On speed density, or whenever we force it over to MAF, we want to disable dynamic airflow, and then, which we do underneath the airflow dynamic tab. Normally the high RPM disable is what works the best. You can just lower this down to 40 and take this one down to 39, and you are going to disable dynamic. You will be on MAF only for the most part. Same side of it, if you are going into MAF only, we want to bring our MAF fail high down to 2 hertz or something like that, and then 1, and that will fail the MAF and force you over to speed density. Okay, same ordeal though on the fuel side of things. The deceleration fuel cutoff, disable that. So bump up your enable up to 490 or something like that. Disable down to 489. If you have a clutch card, do the same thing for that. Temperature control, COT protection, disable that. Now power enrichment. This is where it gets a little bit different. It's a little bit different on all of the different platforms out there, but the delay is kind of where it's at. You can bump up the delay, but you're still going to have the throttle setting point. And I would not mess with that. That is going to be at like 87% throttle. If you somehow get up to that point without running into issues, you are kind of pushing it. So you could theoretically extend out the RPM delay. I do not suggest it. Once again, the solution is to jump down into the comments or the description down below, click that link that goes to the AEM wideband that I use, and spend the $180 or whatever it is and be safe. It's the best money that you'll buy as a tuner. So we're going to not really do anything on this ordeal because we want to theoretically stay out of power enrichment. So if we look at our open gear, our open loop, we're not compared to not worried about any of this stuff like we might be on some of the other stuff because we are in closed loop. So our oxygen sensors over here, all of this should be good to go. Our long-term fuel trims, our minimum ECT, and our maximum, we're good to go there. All this stuff, we should, for the most part, be able to keep it perfectly fine. So that being said, we need to jump over, set up our scanner real quick. The cool thing about this is that our scanner comes with a long-term fuel trim and short-term fuel trim. Real quick, we're going to jump in. What's the difference between the two? The short-term fuel trim is an immediate reaction to a change in your O2 voltage on bank 1, sensor 1. So if those things determine that you're lean, you'll see it on the short-term fuel trim before the long-term fuel trim. But why do we use the long terms? Well, this is a prime example right here. We've got two spots here that are saying you are super lean, and that's at 16 and 20 underneath 2,000 RPMs. If we go to the same spot, you're not actually that lean based on the long-term fuel trims. So the long-term fuel trims are a average of the short-term fuel trims over a period of time. The short-term trims are reacting at the drop of a button, but sometimes they overshoot. The long terms are the more accurate way of going about this. Now, these tables, the long-term fuel trim tables, will max out around 20. If you are maxing this table out at negative 20 or positive 20, your fuel trims are way off and you need to make some adjustments or you've got bad O2 sensors. On top of it, though, we've got negative and positive values. These are percentages, and this is saying right here where it's green and negative that we are too rich, and we've had to subtract 4% of the fueling out there. Same ordeal down here. We've got a 3 in the red. That means that we were a little bit lean. We had to add 3% in there. So in order to get this data, you need to log whatever your table's based on. In this case, we've got RPM and cylinder air mass, but double check. We'll look at it here in a second. Then on top of it, you need to bring in your long-term fuel trim bank and your on for both bank 1 and bank 2, and it'll be sensor 1, sensor 2. You can't see it right there, but you need to at least have the long-term fuel trims for bank 1 and bank 2. So now what we do is we come in here and we go into our graphs layout. We're going to use the existing one for our VE table. We're going to make some adjustments, but there's something I want to touch on underneath here for you 4-cylinder guys. If you run this one that's in here by default, this long-term fuel trim sensor, it will only produce half because it's averaging between bank 1 and bank 2. You only have bank 1. So in your situation, you need to come in here and go into long-term fuel trim and then do bank 1 average right there. No, not bank 1 average. I'm sorry. You want just bank 1. Let me type that back in. Long-term fuel trim, bank 1. You can use the generic one. And then you'll see on here, this is changed, and it now matches what's going to be on bank 1. If you, as a 4-cylinder, log bank 1 and bank 2 will always be 0. So that's why we do this. But with the V8 on here, we want to go into long term, and there will be down towards the bottom, underneath closed loop fuel learning, long-term fuel trim. This is the average of the two sensors. You have to change that over to percent. Sorry, guys. That is long-term fuel trim. You have to change it over to percent. You can do the same thing on there. You don't really need to do cell hits required on this one because it's already averaging that out. That's already a part of it. But let's go ahead, jump back over, look at our VE table, which will be under your airflow if you have a VE table. This one does not, so we're going to look at the virtual VE table and grab our rows and columns. So if we go ahead and copy our labels from our column axis, which is in RPMs, Control A to select all, Control V to paste it over there. And then we can go ahead and see what we're using. In this case, we're using map pressure. So we're going to have to change it here. Manifold air pressure. Boom. Sounds good. Make sure it's in the same units. So it's on kPa there. It's kPa there. We'll go ahead and copy the row axis labels. Control A, Control V, And now we have a long-term fuel trim table for our VE tables for doing speed density tuning. Everything else applies. You're going to go out, you're going to log, pay attention to this long-term fuel trim table. It takes a while to log all that stuff in, but then we're just going to do the same steps where we copy it, come over, and we're going to do pay special, multiply by percent, half. If you do the multiply by half, you will overshoot. So just go ahead and do the half and just log it a few times. And then same ordeal, you'll have to come in and interpolate in between certain cells on here where you've got big blanks. But you should not have as many big blanks on this because trimming or doing your fueling this way takes a long time. It takes probably 3 to 4 times more driving than using a wideband because you have to populate these cells. So once that's done and you write those coefficients and you write the tune into the vehicle, you need to make sure and go in underneath the vehicle controls and special functions. There will be a tab called fuel in there, and you need to reset your long-term fuel trims after that. That will zero out this table because this table will be retained. Once you zero that table out with your new fuel trims, you can go out there and then learn what adjustments you need to make. Eventually, this is not that bad. If you're at 1 or 2, you're good. Don't worry about it. Leave it alone. Now, 4, 5, you're starting to get outside. And so you can... Okay, now doing the math sensor is the same process. What we want to do on that is we'll create a new one in here. Go into graphs layout. Go ahead and do add table. We're going to do the parameter is LTFT. Go back down to our bottom one here. Our generic sensor. Make sure we flip it back over to percent. And then we want to do our mass airflow sensor. Remember, it has to be in frequency for this to work. Jump back over to our math table. Copy this over. Copy the column axis labels. And then, boom. Okay, now if you go down and look at this one, you will have, should have, well, this table doesn't have the mass airflow sensor built into it, so it's not showing up data. You will have data on there. Let me see if I can find one that has that. Mass airflow, long-term. So you'll have data in there like that. You'll notice that this one is in closed loop, or in open loop, so it's not reading closed loop fuel trims, but normally these will have numbers in that, much like the other one would. You just do the same thing. Copy, come over, and in your mass airflow frequency table, pay special, multiply by half. Just remember, you have to disable your speed density or your VE table, your dynamic airflow whenever you're doing math, and then you have to disable your math whenever you're doing speed density or dynamic airflow. So hopefully that kind of clears up the air for you guys. Makes sense. It's straightforward. It's super easy. It works for partial throttle. Don't get me wrong. Never said that didn't. This is a way, and it's not bad for kind of finalizing your idle tune. If you get your idle airflow close enough where the thing will idle, you can just put this thing into closed loop and let it idle for 20 minutes, and it will build up a lot of data on those long-term fuel trims that you can paste in a couple times and get your idle airflow spot on, or your highway cruising airflow spot on, things like that. So that's basically it, man. I mean, if you guys have any questions, as usual, hit up the comments down below. If you need me to do specific ones where I dive in more on applying this to the speed density or the math table, just let me know. I don't care. I can throw some videos out there. I'm trying to just condense this one down because I think it's a topic that covers both pretty easily. But that being said, I know some of you guys feel a little bit more comfortable if I break it out into 2 separate videos where we only touch on the things that you want to do for math tuning or speed density tuning. Remember, I'll say it one last time, buy a wideband. Do not try and tune forced induction or wide open throttle pulls using your narrowband sensors. Okay, now for the spill. Hit up the Patreon if you want tuning assistance. $15 a month. You get an email. You send me a tune. I send you, all kinds of information back. Walk you through the tuning process personally. Check out the merch link. The new tuning shirt out there, the tuning clean shirts out there is pretty cool. So the merch link's down in the description, of course, along with the Patreon. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We're about to break 4,000. quite a bit sooner than I thought. So whoever's sharing the videos out there, appreciate you guys, appreciate all the new subscribers, appreciate all the thumbs up, the likes. Hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the bell so you don't miss out on new stuff. And then as always, thanks for stopping by the garage. And remember, ABT, always be tuning.